So how would you dare to be audacious? I'm selling something today, and I hate salesmanship. I'm going to try to sell you on being great, not being big. I want to introduce you to this special mindset that says choosing greatness is the best path to a great life. I've been involved in a lot of businesses, owned some. I've made every conceivable error possible over the last 43 years in business. You can't live long enough to make all the mistakes that I've made. But I found out, really just by accident, that bigness is not as good as greatness. In fact, when you focus on growing fast and growing big, probably what's going to happen is it's going to end up fatal for you, your family, your business, and your community. I think that the most rewarding life is the one that comes from you developing greatness instead of bigness. It is really sad to me that so many people in the entrepreneurial class sacrifice a very rewarding family life, and so many of them sacrifice their personal health, and all in the search to just fastly grow a business. Also, it saddens me when there's so many heart attacks and ulcers, substance abuse, divorces among our entrepreneurial class. I've tried some of those. And it's really not ever a picnic for the people that are all involved around you. So I'm just trying to tell you, it's better to be great than be big. Now, we admire the big companies. Who don't want to read the headlines? Somebody's hiring 5,000 people. Somebody's going to build a 500,000 square foot something or other in your town, and everyone's going to have a job. It's great. We're blown away that Walmart would be the world's 23rd largest country. It's just a store. Blessed, it's better to go there, I guess, than Norway to get it. So they outgrew Norway. And let me tell you how I learned it. Hard knocks, bumps, bruising, bleeding, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Baldness, I like to blame the baldness on that. The situation I'm trying to get you to do is fall out of love with your commas and zeros when you're looking at your business and business growth and maybe your net worth. Fall out of love with that. What you should fall in love with, though, and it shouldn't be hard to sell love. It's fantastic. Fall in love with your family. Start with your wife or your husband or whatever you got. Fall in love with your team at work. Every team you're on, fall in love with your teammates. If you've got customers, you've got constituents, you've got students, whatever you've got, fall in love with them. Fall in love with your entire community base. Because what that'll do, they'll love you back. I've never seen a comma or a zero on somebody's gravestone. I don't want to die and then say he was worth this much. That would be wrong. But most successful small business stories start off the same way, and y'all are in here, you know it. I can see some of y'all. Y'all bought or started a business when everybody in your family, all your friends, your doctor, your lawyer, your dentist, your father-in-law especially said, oh, don't start a business, get a nice steady job. That just means I'm starting or buying a business, right? Because that's who we are. Also, we don't just start off broke, we stay broke most of the time. I tried to give my friend a book one time, and the title was Die Broke, and he said, Die Broke? He said, I've been doing that the whole time. I've been living broke the whole way. We'll cash in our retirement to start a business. We'll borrow money from our grandmother. We'll rob the piggy bank. We'll look under the cushions. We'll go anywhere to get money to stay in business. We'll borrow from our life insurance policy. We'll do anything to make payroll. It's wonderful. But really, the thing that I found that sparks most small business entrepreneurial greatness is that there's no one left on the planet stupid enough to hire you. So let me talk to you a little bit about what a great business looks like. And I'm going to give you some crazy examples, so fasten your seatbelt and get out your pen and pencil and paper because you're going to need to write this down. $16 corned beef Reuben. I want one right now. And then there's a $14,000 bicycle. And I want to tell y'all that those businesses that created those two things have something very much in common. These businesses started on nothing but a dream. It's amazing. These companies chose greatness over bigness. The founders of these two places never thought of commas and zeros. They were just on a mission. What author Bo Burlingham wrote about in his book hit me right between the eyes. He said that small giant businesses that choose to be great, not big, they have something amazing in common. And I shouldn't be learning anything after 44 years as a business owner. But the amazing thing they have in common is that these companies have something called mojo. Mojo? What's mojo for a business? I'm going to tell you what it is. It's accomplished in an amazing way. It's accomplished through something that we call human capital. This is the wonderful feeling that you get when you know people and you see people involved with that company. It's the warm feeling you get, positive vibes that you get when you think about the dream that that company had when it was founded. You know the greatness behind the history of that company. That's why most small giant companies are more than 30 years old. How do you feel when you see these iconic names like Harley Davidson, Apple, Tesla? Why do people put $30,000 down on a Tesla and wait 2 years to get delivery of the newest model? It's not because they want Tesla to be big. It's because Tesla's great. Apple's great. Harley Davidson's great. Think of all these great brands. Now, the original small giant story is my favorite. It was written about a company in Ann Arbor, Michigan called Zingerman's Deli. They're the guys with the sandwich. They started in 1983 on a wing and a prayer. Borrowed $20,000 from a bank who didn't know better. And Ari Weinwig and Paul Saginaw, Ari's the tall, skinny kid. Now, here's how he got prepared to be a success in business. He has a Russian studies degree. I know his mom and dad are thinking, I'm glad I spent $100,000 on that. He's got a deli. He opened a deli. So, but they did. And they had this wonderful vision. I love the vision. All they wanted to do, they wanted a two-handed corned beef Reuben, where when you couldn't eat it in this clothing. The sauce and juice would be running down your arms. Stuff would be dribbling all over, like me and my oatmeal this morning, just dribbling all over. Well, it was super successful. Imagine a line out the door when you walk up in the morning to unlock the door and go out. That's every business person's dream. It's like Apple with the lines around, tents out to get in there. Paul is a businessman. He goes, we're going to open these all across the country. Nari said, no, we're not. I don't get on airplanes to fly to Kansas City to see if the coleslaw is fresh. Paul said, what are we going to do? So they finally got together. They came up with a vision of a community of businesses. All would be located right there. All would be related to each other in one way or another. Because then they could have the mojo. They could have that human capital. They could have everybody in the business working really hard and super engaged. And their major success factor was going to come from their human capital. Because what they do is they provide every single person in all those businesses with a stake in it. $66 million in 2017 in that family of businesses. 10 separate businesses, all in the Ann Arbor area and all related to each other. You can order Zingerman's right now if you write it down. Order Zingerman's Deli stuff. You can order the smokehouse stuff. Get some bacon from Zingerman's, whatever you want to do. All related right there. It's an amazing business story. I think that it is still one of the coolest companies in America. There's no doubt about it. The next story I want to tell you about is completely different. It's about manufacturing something in Minnesota. The amazing story of Head Cycling. And it's the perfect example of people that started off to be great with a mission, nothing to do with commas and zeros. Converted little small house that was turned into a cycling shop. We've seen cycling shops around here. Ours are great. They somehow figured out how to make a carbon fiber wheel for the high-performance cycling world. And it was the buzz. I mean, it was going on. Well, let me tell you how they got the money. I love the money story. They needed money to figure out how to make that wheel. And he said, well, I like triathlons. And there's one going on. The first prize is a car. Annie runs off, wins the car, first prize. She runs down to the bank as fast as she can, and she walks out with the money she borrowed on the title at the bank. They're off and running. So the progress after progress, they grew and grew and grew. And then in 2014, they had about 40 people working there on the team, and they made the biggest leap in their business's history. They invented a way to mold a pure carbon fiber bike frame. Something that engineers from all over the world have been trying to do for a long time. And they partnered with Cervelo to figure this out. But Steve's bike frame design, you pop that out, basically put the wheels on it and let's go. No sanding, no painting, no environmentally bad stuff happened. So they're off to the runs with that. It's fantastic, got it going on, everything's great. And all that progress was based on their company's mojo. Everyone in the company is obsessed with how happy their customers are and how great their community's doing and how great the family members are. 4 people at that company bring their dog to work every day. And it's a pretty big company. Today, that's a $10 million a year company. Today, they have about 50 people working there. It's an amazing success story. The other thing they wanted to do is they wanted to prove once and for all that you could have a really good manufacturing company right here in Minnesota, right here in the USA. But just like Zingerman's, Ann and Steve face all these little questions, the same questions all along the way. Do we get bigger? Do we do this? Do we do that? And constantly they kept going back. Let's keep on our innovation. Let's be super competent and let's be super high quality all the way that we don't have to worry about anything. And they were right. They also survived something terrible. In 2014, right after they got that perfection on the molding of the frame, Annie gets a call. She's picking the kids up at school. Get back over here. Steve collapsed. Well, Steve never regained consciousness. So what happened? 2014, moving in 3 weeks into a twice as big facility. No problem. I talked to Annie. She said, no problem. You wouldn't believe it. I went off and did everything I needed to do. The whole team, the whole community, all our customers, everyone just took over. Everything worked. Everything stayed fine. And they thrive to this day. And that wouldn't be possible if they didn't have that mojo, that tremendous human capital they built up over all those years. That would not have happened. So we have great small giants in our community. You're probably sitting next to somebody who is one. I can't tell you about all of them. I don't know all of them. I know a couple of them. It's going to be a highlight for me to tell you about them. Ed Durant and the Frame Shop is the perfect small giant story. In 1991, with really nowhere else to go, Ed found a frame shop for sale, and he goes in and buys this thing. Now, I was here. There was a great local competitor, had 3 fantastic stores. The 3 local competitor stores, they had everything that you needed. The one thing you didn't need was Ed Durant and the framing and art business. They had national competitors. And do y'all remember the 90s? It was do-it-yourself everything. I think there was a kit for do-it-yourself bypass. I mean, everything was do-it-yourself in the 90s. We're going to save a buck, right? Fast forward to now, and over the years, anything to do with anything in that business, they do it. Restoration. Brand new artist got some stuff, Ed'll sell it. Very experienced, well-known artist got some stuff, Ed'll sell it. You need some kind of fancy archival frame job done because it's going to be really important papers on the wall, Ed'll do it. And what happens there that I love, if you get the privilege to do business with them, you go in the front door and the people taking it in all the way to the back. Somebody in the back's been there forever. The way that they do their work, you can feel the love. When you come back and get whatever it is you're doing, you can tell that they care about you. They love you. They want you to be thrilled. They don't want you to be, okay, thank you. It's not a transaction. It's a labor of love for them, and I love that about them. And I keep trying to tell Ed over the years, Ed, you don't have any happy customers. You have raving fans. Because you go in there, and you come out, and you just want to tell everybody how beautiful your thing is. And you hang it on your wall, and 25 years later, you're still thrilled with it. And that's what comes from that kind of mojo that they have at the frame shop driven by Ed Durant. Now, going to go to a completely different kind of realm now. Imagine, how do you have a printing and graphics company and it be a small giant type guy? Allegra is amazing. And y'all know Larry Lynn and Sam. Sam's not with us anymore. Larry Lynn still is, a little less hair. So what they do, and this is what gives them their mojo. If they don't do something great for you as a small business, go in there to get something done, if you don't succeed with the little thing they make for you or sell to you, whatever you're getting, they got no mojo. What they do for you has to work. If they mail out 2,000 things and they go to the wrong place, that's not going to work, okay? If they get the logo wrong or the wrong phone number on your stuff, it's not going to work. They make sure that it works. Their mojo comes from the fact that they are able to twist and turn and change directions. They've changed the name of the business twice, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. They've added more and more services to the cycle of stuff that they do so that if you need something, you really don't have to go somewhere else. And they serve giant businesses and medium and little businesses. And the first place you go if you start one really is you walk straight in there and say, I need this, 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 and this. And you'll have it quick. Their mojo comes from incredible creativity and high competence. And everyone in there feels like it's urgent that you get the best possible results and the best possible care through your process. I mean, I'm sure there's other great printers and other great printers like them. That's the one that I know has mojo. That's the one that has human capital that will last for years and years to come. I really like them. Now, you probably are thinking, I can't be a small giant. I'm a school teacher. I'm a nurse. I'm a doctor. Maybe you want to be a small giant. You can be. It's the same. It doesn't matter whether you're teaching kindergarten or you have a company with 100 employees, teammates. It's the same thing. You have to create your vision. You have to decide that your vision is, we're going to be great. We're going to have mojo. We're going to be the best we can be. We're going to be fully focused, fully engaged on what we're doing. You should plan your growth and plan your next move and change of direction just like you plan anything else. I know people that plan more where they're going to dinner tonight than they do where they're going with their companies. You need to really plan out ahead what you're going to do. And you've got to build a sustainable model, like the guys I've been talking about. How would they still be here? Believe me, there's times when that business cycle there's this one. There's this part. I've been through bunches of them. We all have in the last 30, 40 years. You've got to survive through all of them. Survive, thrive. Survive, thrive. That's what we do. Build the model to do that. Are y'all writing this down? You need to write down, stay focused on human capital. That's the only thing you write down. Stay focused on human capital. Because it's the humans that'll love you back, remember? Stay centered on something that I call the competency and creativity. It doesn't matter how creative you are if you're not competent, or how competent you are if you're not creative. If you've got each, you got to put them together. You got to be both. You've got to be obsessed with openness with your books, with your team especially. And you've got to find a way to share every single bit of your success with your community and especially your teammates. Grow through your human capital at every turn. You've got to create a partnership culture in your company with your team, your customers, your vendors, everybody involved. Don't outgrow your cash. I've done that 79, 80 times where you're thinking, how do I make payroll? How do I pay the bills? Don't outgrow your cash. You do that by planning. I don't know where you are, where you're going. I don't know how much you wrote down. She did. But the same problems are across the board. It doesn't matter where you're sitting in your life today. You've got a chance to choose greatness. Be sure to choose greatness at every turn that you can. I'm begging you. Fall in love. Start at your house. Go to your office. Fall in love some more. Or your kindergarten class, whatever it is. Fall in love with your customers, your clients, your community, and everybody involved. Because that's going to bring you the human capital. That's going to provide the mojo. I want you to go find that. Find the love. Find your greatness. Thank you.